If you're new to Jira, or maybe if you haven't had time to explore much, then maybe you are not familiar yet with the navigation system. And perhaps you haven't really fully explored everything that is in Jira. So in this video we are going to go over the different areas of navigation and what hides behind each of the elements. So let's jump into Jira. So when you come into Jira, you will see three main areas of navigation. And the first one, when you enter the landing page here, is that you're going to see the top one here, which is the primary navigation area. And if you go anywhere in Jira, like in a project, for example, you will have a context-based navigation menu to the left, which is the secondary navigation. And also in the content area itself, you usually have navigation nodes or ways to interact with that content at the top, like a third navigation or tertiary navigation structure. So I'm going to start with the main navigation, the primary one. And up in the top here you have 9 dots, kind of like a version of the hamburger menu. And what this one will allow you to do is to switch then to the different applications or the different products that you have from Atlassian. So you can jump from Jira, for example, to Confluence and back again. In your setup you might have your own logo, but if you don't have that one, when you click on the Jira icon or whatever icon you have here or whatever logo you have here, it will take you back to the start page of Jira. Your work is where you will see all the tasks and issues that are assigned to you, and they are grouped in different tabs. So you have assigned to me, you have recent activities that you have looked on or worked on, you have different boards that you have accessed, and you have different queues if you have Jira Service Management. And you might also have seen that when you are in Assign Me, you have Go to Your Work page. And this one will actually take you then to this page. So we can verify this by going into one, and we can go to Your Work and go to Your Work page. And then you go back here. And if you are already here, then nothing will happen. The next section is for projects. And this one will show you which projects you have recently accessed. It will show you a link to view all projects, and you can also, if you have the permission to create project, then you can create it from here. And if you go into one of these, you will actually go directly into the project. And if you go to view all projects, then you will have a overview where you can see all the projects that you have access to. And in view projects, you have the ability to search for projects if this list is very long. And you can also filter based on what products you have installed. And you can also create the project up here at the top. And you also have on each of these lines where you have a project, you have the 3 dots. And the 3 dots is an indicator in all aspects of Jira that there are more navigation or more activities that you can do. So this one will then show you where you can now move this project to trash, or you can go directly to the project settings if you have that access. The next one is for filters and for advanced issue search. So this one will show you the filters that you have starred. So if you have already created filters and starred them, they will show at the top. Then it will show the recent one that you have worked with or accessed. You can view all filters that you have access to. And you can also go to advanced issue search where you can create new filters. So if you go to view filters, it will work similar to projects. You will have an overview. You can search for different. You can also filter based on owner. You can filter based on project and also on group. And each filter will then also have the 3 dots. And what you can do with that is you can manage subscriptions for that filter. We're going to cover that in another video. You can also copy this and make it a clone out of it. You can edit it. You can change ownership if you have that access, or you can delete it. And if you click on Create Filter, this will actually take you to the same place as Advanced Issue Search. And the Advanced Issue Search we're going to have a separate video for, but this is basically where you do Either you use the drop list for the simple version of the GQL, or you can switch to advanced mode and you can write your own queries. And the result here then you can save. And also for filters that you have saved, you can then change permissions or you can set up subscriptions. Dashboards is, we can go to one directly so you see what it is. So dashboards are widget-based pages where you can actually add different widgets that will give you different types of information. And when you click on the dashboards, then you can see which one that you have stored. You can view all or you can create. And view all dashboards, the same as before. And the other ones, you have the same patterns here. You can search, you can filter on owner, project, and group. And you can create dashboards. And you can also copy one or even share one. People, this one is a little bit tricky. Right now, Teams doesn't really work properly. You have multiple versions of Teams. So for example, this team here is what is called the Atlassian Teams, which is a global team that is used all over all Atlassian products that is tied to your Atlassian account. You also have Teams in advanced roadmaps, which is not connected to this at all, which is a separate one. And there are other teams that are used in different apps and so on. So right now, Atlassian is looking into how they will work with this properly. And I suggest until they have figured out how to actually make this useful, I would skip this one completely. But what you can do if you want to use it is you can create a team. And the team then will have a little page. You can see who's in here. And it has very limited versions that you or functionality that you can actually do here. So, like I said, I wouldn't use this one for now. I would wait until they have a better implication, or not implication. They have better application for it. And speaking of applications or apps, the last tab is where you will see if you have applications or apps that is installed, then they will show up here. So if you have a big picture, for example, that's shown here, then you can actually go to that from this one. And you can also, if you have the admin access, you can explore more apps. You can manage the apps that you have installed. And you can also see if someone has requested an application. The create button will allow you then to create an issue, and this one will actually take the last one you entered, and you can also find then whatever Jira project you want to create it, and then issue type as usual. The search bar will allow you to search not just in Jira but also on other applications. In my case, I have Bitbucket and I have Trello connected to it. So then it will actually show you then the recently viewed items, recent boards and so on. And you can also, when you search for this one, it will actually live filter for it. So if I go just type task, then it will show then based on the name here. And you can also see here now you can go to all issues, boards, projects, filters and people. And these are shortcuts. So if you click on it, then you will go to advanced search. The notification will notify you if someone has commented or done anything that you have set up in the notification scheme. So as a default, you get a ton of notifications here. And also, if there's something that you're watching that you want to have notifications, you have a specific one for that one. And you can select if you want to have everything or if you just want to show what you haven't read yet here. In the search, or rather the help, it will actually show you a lot of information that you might want to check out. For example, what changed in Jira. In Jira Cloud, we have a new release every Monday. So that will take you then to the latest change. So you can actually read it. And you have the entire documentation, which is a little bit messy, a little bit big, a little bit difficult to find the information you need. but you have a lot of things there. And you also have the university, community, and so on. So you have a lot of help here that you can look through. If you have access to the settings menu, then you will have a little cog wheel here. This one will allow you, as if you have access to it, to user management and billing. These are more for the site admins and upper, and this is where you will manage who will have access to your accounts or your products, and billing will also show you your financial information. And as you can see, these are black, and you have a little external link, and that is because they go to your Atlassian account, and this is not just for this Jira instance. And then you have the different settings, for example, for issues where we do the workflows, projects where we categorize projects, different system settings, and so on. So this is where the site admin and the Jira admins work, where they configure to make sure that your setup is awesome. And last but not least, we have the profile that you have. So you have your managed account, and you also have your profile, which are different things. And you also have personal settings, will allow you to define different things within Jira. So if you have the wrong language, for example, you probably want to go to manage account. And also if you want to set your profile image and things like that, then you want to do it here. So those are the main navigation areas, and I'm going to go into more details with some of these later on. But I think we should just look at the project settings also, since those are the most commonly used. So I'm going to use the company managed project for this. And like I said before, you have on the left side, you have the, this is actually the primary navigation for this context. So the main navigation up here will always be there. That is site-wide. And this one is for the content that you're actually looking at. And the reason I wanted to show you this one before we close this video is because it is the most commonly looked at and least understood, because you actually have two completely separate functionalities that you're looking at here. And this is also why Atlassian have lately, as you can see here, there's a little colored border around this, or a colored area. And the reason for that is they want to make sure that you understand that what you have here, these links that you have here, is not part of the Jira project at all. It's actually a board. And board are just visual representations of a filter. They can be connected to a project, but they don't really belong to the project itself. I know this is confusing. We're going to talk about this when we go over the company managed projects a little bit more detail. But if you don't have a board, your default view will actually be issues. So this is where you will actually see by default. But otherwise, you always have pretty much the same structure. So you have the work areas that you are working on first. So if you're Jira Service Management or Jira Work Management, or if you are in Jira Product Discovery, it doesn't really matter. You have first and foremost, you have how to work with the application or the product that you're in. And then you have project settings, and that way you actually configure the project itself. And usually you have, like you saw here for issues, when I click that one, you see a little arrow here. That means that you have a sub-menu or a sub-structure of navigation below it. And in this case, it's the different views. And this is the same that you have in your service management. When you click in on one of the queues, you will actually have a similar setup for this one. So you have a context-based sub-menu that is shown by sliding into it. And project settings, that is based if you have access to it or not. And in there you will have pretty much the same way like issues here. You will have, you see you have that arrow there as well. And then you will have a different set of configuration or different menu that you have. So that is pretty much it. I don't want to dig too much into these ones because they are very specific to the view that you're looking at. It might be worth noticing that anytime you have the three dots, it have configuration for that view. And also if you go into one of the stories, you will also have the three dots, and these will allow you to do more things, configure things. So I hope that explains a little bit of what the navigation nodes that you see here on the top, what they are and what they do, at least on a high level. And we will go into most of them, if not all of them, at a later date and go into details of what you can do with them. So that's it for this video. If you liked it and you want to see more content like this, please subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. But until next time, I hope you will have an awesome day.